What it do, what it do, what it do. Welcome to another episode of the Some Every Yay the podcast. I'm your host, Danye Jones. And if you've been following me, subscribing, I appreciate you. But if you know me, like, what is he doing? I don't do live shows. I think I've done, maybe my third one. I did one, I did a birthday live, my birthday, August 3rd. Still not too late, just happy birthday to me. I did an Olympic recap live in this one. Actually, this week I wasn't going to do any lives or any episodes. I was going to rest and do some other things, but something's been in the news I wanted to talk about. So I'm going to jump right into it. I do the housekeeping stuff at the end. But again, this is Danye Jones, Some Every Yay the podcast. If you're joining me, please feel free to chat, whatever. I try to navigate that. But let me just go ahead and just jump right in this real quick. Let's see here.
A 3-count indictment charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City. Today, he's been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York.
Okay. You probably already know this. Like, why am I talking about this? This is crazy to me. All right. For the most part, everyone should know who Sean Diddy Combs, Sean Puff Daddy Combs. You know, Biggie first started calling him P. Diddy. Biggie, the late great, Notorious B.I.G. But for those who do not know, this is Sean Combs, the hip hop music mogul, the Ciroc distributor, the Sean John clothing line, entrepreneur, just have been a fixture in hip hop for the past 30 years. One would say a pioneer of CEOs of hip hop. Well, the bag is out. He has been indicted. Now, listen, to me, this is crazy for a lot of reasons. Now, he is in the federal lockup right now in New York. His attorney's saying that he came to New York to turn himself in. So, hey, they should cut him some slack. Judge like, nah, no bail. Now, allegedly now, he supposedly had offered the judge, say, I pay $50 million to, for bail. Like, no, cat, you ain't getting no bail. You're not getting no bail. And also said, surrender your passports. So he's in lockup right now. And I'm thinking, like, how did we get here? How did we get here? Well, got a couple facts, but also theories too. But first, I'm going to say this here. Remember, his lady friend is involved with Cassie, aspiring singer. You know, they were involved. Cute little couple there. You know, yeah, we know we're gonna talk about that right there in the middle in a minute. But Cassie was his lady they dated for a minute. They dated for a minute. And allegedly he had, was abusive to her, put her in some of his sex shows for other guys to have sex with her and whatnot. And obviously we know about the I'm gonna say alleged, the hotel video. I'm not gonna show the hotel video, but if you guys remember, he was seen dragging her, he was seen kicking her, Um, looking back, you see she's distraught in that photo there. And what's crazy about that, the video, obviously, is the hotel video. So obviously, he had to pay the hotel to get that video. But his house was raided a few months back. His house home in Miami and his home in LA. He wasn't at either premises. I think his sons were detained that were there. What was crazy about it, they confiscated all these computers, tapes, books, and apparently one of these tapes had to be one of them. First of all, okay, if you pay, you did some trifling, you run down the hall half naked, that you beating on this young girl, but then you pay, get the tape. Why didn't you destroy it? Now, the way the feds was talking, I didn't play the whole interview with the DA, but he's talking. They have a lots of video footage. Now, you would say, hey, a lot of what they call freak offs, a lot of a lot of sexual things going on, debauchery, one would say. But the thing is, you say, hey, what's wrong? Hey, consenting adults having group sex. Have at it. That's what you want to do. But allegedly, there are some people who definitely have gave testimony that they charged him with racketeering, sex trafficking, as he said, kidnapping, arson. I'm like, arson? What? He burned somebody's crib down? But there's so much stuff. But what's crazy about that, all the stuff that they are charging for, and you know what, the feds, they're not just going to throw no crack up. I think they got like a 99% uh, record success rate in terms of convictions. So they're not just going to bring nothing up. So when they come, they got everything they need. Not only evidence, but they have video evidence. Now I'm assuming they said that he was drugging people, and I'm saying he because he can do all this by himself because it's a racketeering. You can't have a RICO charge solo. But they said he also was using IVs to bring people back to. So obviously there had to be some medical people involved. I didn't play it, but one thing that was interesting to the DA said, if there's anyone else who have any information regarding this, I suggest you come in now. Translation, we see some of you other fools on the tape. You better come in and cut your deal now. Ain't no telling who's on the tape. Now, here is the thing. Now, people who are not involved in hip hop communities, they would say, it's all hip hop guys. Oh, no, 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 no. No way, no way. P. Diddy was big. There have to be Hollywood elites, um, at least in the political realm, at least just in the natural loop. Because before Trump became, this uh, candidate for presidency, and he'd been a president before he was one like the symbols for money. Because the hip hop community embraced him because he had loot. They didn't know how much of a fool he was, but they want to be with people with money. Want to be associated with other people with money. So all the allegations is very similar, very similar to the brother. What was his name? Epstein cat. Remember him? Epstein, who allegedly hung himself in jail when he was charged with all this sex trafficking and all that. And if you haven't seen the documentary of that, it is absolutely insane what this fool's doing. This cat had an island, his own personal island, where he was flying dignitaries, anybody who want to get their freak on with young girls across the world. Across the world. This is his own private island. And when I listen to some of the things they're saying about Diddy, it's along those same lines. They said he was flying people in, men and women, as sex slaves. Now, obviously, they don't just have video evidence, they have obviously testimony from a lot of different people. A lot of different people. Now, check this out. This is my thing. When Cassie initially um like press charge or whatever, and he quickly settled, I think that raised an eyebrow. I personally think that raised an eyebrow. I think he probably should have fought it. Now, maybe he settled because he said, I did this girl wrong. Let me give her a little money. But with all the other civil suits, I think people was like, no, let's go a little deeper. But I'm gonna tell you something kind of ironic, and I'm gonna take it to a different place for a second. Again, I'm not saying I don't know every man is innocent to proven guilty, but when the feds come in like that, they got something. Now, remember what happened in January of this year? Combs tried to sue. What's the cat? Was it Diageo? He's the guy that's kind of over. He was over Ciroc and DeLeon Liquors. He's like the guy that was over that. Basically, Puffy was the face for Ciroc. It was his, but he was under the umbrella of DeLeon. And he alleged that Diageo had not given Ciroc and DeLeon, his other liquor, the same kind of marketing and promotion it had given other properties in its portfolio. He also alleged that Diageo had undermined the business by marketing Ciroc and DeLeon as an urban rather than something for the general market. Like I said before, P. Diddy historically always wanted to be, he wanted to be paid, but he wanted to be in that white money situation. Like, not that he was trying to be white. He wanted, so I'm a black dude from Harlem. Hey, I can rub noses. I got loot like y'all too. So he didn't want his liquor to be viewed as an urban liquor. He wanted to have his liquor at some black reception, but also he wanted to have it at some big time white functions, even at the Oscars or whatever. Have his liquor there too, branded as that. Now, as I stated, he went after this big wig. Now he's a big wig, but I'm not pronouncing his name right. Diageo, he's a bigger wig. And it's kind of ironic that these charges start coming after he tried to sue him. Like I said, this was in January of this year. January of this year. Now, I'm not saying I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just looking at what I'm looking at. Now, allegedly, Puffy been having these kind of parties and all wild stuff for years. You've been talking about Puffy stuff for years. But now, this cat said, wait, you trying to, let me show you who you are. Ninja. Well, you know what I'm really saying. You think you're trying to come at me? Let me show who I am, and I'm going to show you who you are. That's one take. You can look at it because it seems very, very similar also. Very, very similar to this brother here. America's dad, Bill Cosby. Now, allegedly, Bill Cosby was part of an ownership group that was trying to purchase NBC. And he had the money, the cachet to possibly underbid. Not that NBC was for sale, but I think they was really trying to bid and trying to, hey, man, give us this, hey, what I did for NBC. Now, all these allegations come out about what he had did in the 60s, 70s, drugging women. Let me tell you this. Let me clear this up now before I start hearing stuff. If he was drugging women, that's terrible. Need to pay the price for that. But this is about me. This is not like he was drugging them in the 80s or the 90s, 2000. It's way back in the day. These charges come up after he was thinking about purchasing that. Now, this is me. If I was drugged and took advantage of me, I would have hit his behind when the Cosby Show was at its peak. Because people forget, the Cosby Show wasn't like the biggest black show on TV. Mm-mm. For all you youngsters who not old enough to know, it wasn't the biggest black show. It was the biggest show on TV, period. Period. It was no other show topping the Cosby Show. So at that peak, you think I'm going to let him prosper like that and he abused me? So man, listen, man, the powers that be can do anything. That's why I love Barack, because if Barack had any real dirt, oh, trust me, they spent millions trying to find it. He just didn't have none. So I'm not saying Bill wasn't guilty of that. I don't know. I'm not saying Puffy not guilty. I think Puffy is guilty of being stupid and kind of arrogant. But I'm gonna tell you this though. You would say, why do he need to do all this? Because they said all stuff he's doing. This is a different kind of RICO charge. Let me tell you something. RICO. First of all, RICO was enacted in 1970, which is racketeering, influencing, and corruption and corrupt organization. It was created really for the mafia because the organized crime was doing so much. So they wanted to, we got to come up with something to get these mob guys off the street. Anybody who's affiliated with all that different, because there was business with extortion, racketeering, loan sharking, drugs, prostitution, alcohol, um, unions, the Teamsters with Jimmy Hopper. They was involved in everything. So we got to hit these fools with everything. That's what the RICO charge. You hear RICO charge now, and that's how they get a lot of black gang members now with RICO charges. It wasn't even created it was created for the Italians. It's funny. I heard one mob guy say the FBI stood for forever bothering Italians. So they got this brother as racketeering. Same thing like they did Chaos. Now, again, not justifying nothing. Now, thing about R. Kelly case is not like this to me. Let me say this. R. Kelly, you have him on tape with a young girl from 20 years ago. Young girl. He's not in prison for that. He got the racketeering, sex trafficking after that documentary came out. No, and I'm not saying sometimes we get charged with something, we have to pay for something that we did in another time, not necessarily this. Let's think about R. Kelly shouldn't be locked up now for what they got him for. That's what I'm saying. Now, let me tell you something. I'm not proud. I saw the tape from years ago with the young girl. I saw tape it was one tape that had three different scenes. The first two girls could have been 17, could have been 21. That last girl dancing, I've been in education. Yeah, that girl about 13, 14. Like, really, dog? But here's the thing. You know why he got away with that on camera? Because the little girl was black. Because the little girl was black. I'm going to tell you something. If that little girl was white, R. Kelly would have been in prison since 2000, 2001. Forget the video. If there was allegations he had a young white girl, forget the video. Out of there. So, but this case with Diddy is really, really nothing like R. Kelly's. It's nothing. They really got some stuff on Diddy, and I think they're gonna get him. The feds don't waste no time. They said we don't want your bail money because we know you can pay it. Surrender your passport. You ain't going nowhere. You're gonna be locked up. I think he might be in jail forever. I just do. And again, I don't have no dog in the fight. I'm not wishing this on no man. But if what they're alleging is true, it's some demented, demonic stuff going on. You like he got money, he can get it when you gone like that. That's what I'm telling you something. Listen, if you don't know him, I'm talking about God. If you don't know him, get to know him. Because I'm put it like this here. The Holy Spirit, I look at it as like a caution light. We all gonna mess up, do bad, do stuff here and there. But that caution light, the Holy Spirit, like, well, hey, hold up. You at least think about it. You still may do some BS. You know what I'm saying? You still may. But at least you get that stop. But when you don't got that, you just going. When you have no caution light, you just going. Think about if there was no yellow lights. Everybody just going. It'd be accidents. You know what I'm saying? Even people who don't know how to swim, they like to get in the water. You know how you can't get in the water, you go, you chilling, chilling, chilling. Want to get here, you start turning back around. But when you don't have that caution light, you keep walking, then it's a 20-foot drop. So I think that's the terrible part. But the most important thing I want to talk about is this. I talked about Bill Cosby. I talked about R. Kelly. Been talking about Diddy. I'm going to show this other picture. Remember this Danny Glover in The Color Purple? I still haven't seen this movie from the beginning to the ending credits. I think I've seen the whole movie. Every time I see it in a portion, but in different segments. I never watched it because it always bothered, even as a young, I think this came out, what, in the mid 80s? I can't remember. But it always bothered me because to me, I said, why is Hollywood giving so much pub to this? It was creating a narrative how black men were. I don't know any black men like that growing up. I didn't personally. I'm not saying they didn't exist. I didn't know black men like that. And I'm gonna tell you something funny. My mother couldn't stand him so much in this picture. When Lethal Weapon, the first one came out, the very first one, when they had kidnapped his daughter and him and Mel Gibson went to go get her, and the people they had, Danny Glover, and they was beating him. My mother was like, beat him, beat him. I said, Mom, what you talking about? Yeah, I don't like the way he was doing silly. I said, Mama, that's a different character. You know what I'm saying? But just seriously though, I never liked that movie because of that. And again, so I'm gonna go right back up here. Diddy, Kels, Bill Cosby. You see where I'm going? It's almost like, again, not taking up for anything they done. It's almost like they want to create this narrative that black men are savages. And it ain't true. And I'm here to dispel that. Now, if you think these individuals, their behaviors depicts black men as these deviant sexual predators, you're wrong. You're dead wrong. Because you're looking at one. And when I mean one, a black man. And I ain't know none of that. Doing people like that. I just don't like, because I'm hearing conversations. And don't you think it's ironic that the people that get like that are people of influence? And that's why I'm concerned who else might be on them tapes. I think more people going down after this. But again, it's not just hip hop people who's attending his parties. I think it's people of all races. But who are they going to slam? You know what I'm saying? Who are they going to slam? So I just, people say, you were so concerned with race. And I ain't concerned with race. It's just that I had a mother and father from Louisiana who talk to their children about things. You know what I'm saying? That's all. I love everybody. I judge everybody based on merit. Now, do I love my black people? Absolutely. I'm pro black to the fullest. Unapologetic, yes, love my black folks. I'm always gonna rock with my black folks, but not when they wrong. But I want to go ride with black folks. But when I see certain stuff, I'm gonna tell you something that happened. I had a I had a kid. I think this was my first year coaching varsity basketball. Had a kid that was on the sophomore team the year before. Chicago, they have sophomore teams, whereas where I grew up, we had JV, but he was gonna be on the team. Lil guard. He got in a situation where he was with this guy. This guy robbed this couple and ended up killing the guy, the couple. He was with him. So obviously, you was with him, you get charged as an adult. I think they got close to 70 years. Now, I'm gonna tell you what the newspaper did. They had this kid's mugshot in the paper. I mean, he was a brown skinned young guy. They darkened his picture and they enhanced his picture They made his like his neck was like a big, made him looking real like menacing. This boy was ever been a five. I'm being generous by saying 5'7", but I'm gonna say about 5'6". Couldn't have been no more than 140 tops. But if you look at that picture, the dark, he had dreads. They darkened this picture and enhanced it to make him look menacing. So when people look at it, they might not even care nothing about the situation. Like, yeah, he did it, and keep it moving. Just like when OJ, you don't even mention that fool, yeah. But even when OJ, when he was on the cover, I think it was Time magazine or one magazine, how they had darkened his picture. You know what I'm saying? So it's things that this country continue to do that always kind of make me wonder. But that's why I have no problem speaking on that. So Diddy's in trouble, y'all. I don't see how he gets out of this. I just don't see how because, like I said, the feds they don't waste time. They don't spend time and resources to once they charge you. They say we're gonna get a conviction of something. I mean, the stuff they got. I mean, I'm more curious on who else they have on tape. That's why that district attorney said anybody else got information, you need to come up quickly. Which he's really saying, you better come cut your deal now. Man, ain't no telling who on some of the tapes doing whatever. Now, again, if it's just group sex thing, hey, well, whatever. But they allegedly were drugging people, like I said, using IVs to bring people back, bringing folks. But this is what I don't understand. They say they had sex workers coming in, men and women. That's, I think, see, that's the part where they try to put their own word in. So I think any men gonna be flown in, or like City Girl said, get flued out. Any men come in, then yeah, you know what it is. You own that. Okay, that's your thing, whatever. So, but they probably pressured some of them too. You better tell this here. I mean, they got people down spilling their guts because people trying to get out that jam. People trying to get out that jam. So I don't. It's gonna be interesting how this gonna last. I mean, how it's gonna play out. But I see a few people watching. Hey, feel free, say something. I mean, let me know. I mean, how y'all feel about it? If y'all have any opinion at all. So I think this is crazy. I think this is crazy to me. I I can't believe we've gotten to this though. That's the thing. We have gotten to this point. And when you think about the origin of where Puffy came from to where he is, it's an American success story. For not. For not. And there was always other allegations about him. They were saying that he allegedly had got Kim Porter killed. I didn't really dig into that story too much. She's the mother of, I think, a couple of his children. She's a former ex of Albie Shore. And it was for years they were talking about that he had hired the Crips to kill Tupac, but we know how that came up. So it was always some shakiness surrounding him, and it's sad because I think he's a masterful businessman. Um, just everything he has done for the culture is to be commended. But once you get down on that slope, and I don't mean him, and this really goes for everybody. Here's just on a grander scale. We all can get on a slippery slope. Our slippery slope may not be what his slippery slope is. It's all relative to who you are, where you are in your life, what are you doing. But you know what? That's why I keep going back to this. I ain't no preacher. I ain't trying to preach to nobody. Do you? You don't want to believe in God? Hey, do you? I'm a believer. because I know some things he had personally done for me. But I'm saying get to know him, because when you know him, you got that caution light. You at least think some things through, and he'll give you a way of escape. But I think P Diddy, this stuff is so crazy. They said the cases they got from 2009 to 2024. So that means prior to them charging him, they got stuff what he had done this year, which means he was going to continue. Man, I mean, so what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Yeah, this is a crazy situation, but I had to get on tonight and talk about that, because I just was tripping. I think um, got tired talking to myself about it, looking at TV, yelling at the TV, not yelling, but talking back to the TV. But I think this is crazy. But real talk. But listen, real quick. Just on the sports tip, did you see that crazy crap? Dallas, how they got slammed. No, I ain't gonna even get into sports. I ain't gonna even get into sports. I'm gonna stay right here. But the way they got slammed by New Orleans is crazy. But real talk, seriously, shout out to we lost a couple legends. We lost Frankie Beverly and Mays, and now listen, Frankie Beverly and Mays. When you hear their song, it just automatically make you feel good. It make you want to chill, make you want to dance, make you want to clean up. I mean, it's real feel good music in a world with so much ugliness. He's one of those artists. His music, like, he will never die, even though his physical body may be gone, but he gonna live with us forever, because his music just, it was a feel good music. Then obviously yesterday we lost Tito Jackson, and Tito was the butt of a lot of jokes, but he really was the catalyst for the Jackson Five. Because think about how it started. Because their dad, Joe Jackson, was a musician, and he was playing with his dad guitar and broke a string. Joe went off, and I was, hey, you gonna stop playing it for real. Then Joe saw he had a talent. Then that developed all those kids. So Tito, man, shout out to Tito Jackson. He definitely was a pioneer for the culture. And speaking of, I'm gonna tell you this here. This may not be popular, but don't care. My podcast. Joe Jackson has been vilified forever. The daddy. We can say what he did, didn't do, whatever. And maybe he done some things that was kind of over the top. But I'm gonna give his flowers in this regard. They're from Gary. He was working in a plant, getting up at 2 or 3 in the morning so the car could start by 5, raising all them kids in the ghetto like that. And to get those kids to where they got to, just think about it. He was buying instruments, making them rehearse, doing all this, providing for his family. And some bills he had to say, okay, can't pay this bill. I gotta buy this guitar. Can't pay this bill. I gotta buy some drums. The sacrifice he was making. And, those earlier shows, they were playing in bars, little bars that Catherine Jackson really wasn't happy about, didn't really know about. But to get them guys, he had to be a real one. Say, hey, no, listen to my boys. He couldn't be he wasn't no punk. It's hard to pump no Kool-Aid. It didn't. To get them from Gary to where they got to, I give props to Joe Jackson. As fathers, sometimes we don't always do the right things, but we do what we think is right for the most part. It may not always end up right, but for the most part, we do and no matter what he may have done later, he probably want to control them. But as they got adults, like any of our kids, once they become adults, they want to go their own way. But he got them there. He got them there. So shout out to Joe Jackson, and RIP to Tito, and RIP to the legend Frankie Beverly. Man, people are getting out of here. We're losing some awesome people, but hey, The only way not to get out of here is not to come here. That's why every day we wake up, it's a good day. Every day. Yeah, that's all I got, because this was impromptu. For those who watch, hey, I appreciate y'all, man, because y'all ain't have to. This was straight off the cuff, impromptu. I had no idea. Trust me, I had no intention of going on tonight, and definitely not live. And for me to go live and not really being prepared, not what I do. But I will be back on next week, probably with another interview. Had a couple people don't know quite yet who I'm gonna interview. Yeah, not quite, but definitely Friday. I'll check out my Friday Fable this Friday. Couldn't do it last Friday. I had a sickness that crept up on me. I was sick as a dog, and I wasn't gonna sit there and do no Friday Fable being sick. So, but I'll be back on Friday. But much love to y'all. Thanks for the support. But so before I get out of here, man, y'all go to my channel, man, for real. Those that's on it now, or those you see this, go to Daniel F. Jones, subscribe, like, and share. Cost you nothing. Instagram, Coach_Jones32. And also on Instagram, you can go to Nicola_32. Yeah, I'm trying to get this Spotify thing right, man. I'm still trying to holler at my man, but excuse me, definitely do that. I didn't got his thing up again. And my boy, Kevin Marshall, More Than a Coach podcast. More Than a Coach podcast. Go to my boy. Awesome brother. Great shows. And Sunday nights, him and his wife, the Mr. and Mrs. Marshall podcast. What is it? Love, Life, and Relationships. They had an awesome show this past Sunday. So they pretty much come on every Sunday. So the Mr. and Mrs. Marshall's podcast, awesome too. Go out there and support. I got some other people I'm gonna be shouting out probably on next week. Want y'all to support and just do what you do, man. Let's help each other out. You know what I'm saying? Much love to y'all. Hey, reach out to me, man. Just say what's up. Let me know I'm still around this piece. You know what I'm saying? Like I always say, the encouragement sometimes needs encouragement. Much love to y'all.
Things going on in the world today. Every time Dick and Harry got something to say, but what they said ain't got no fabric to it. Yay takes and thoughts with dice straight through it. It's all about rumors and people feuding. If we're not uplifting, then what we doing? Yeah, they love the culture, yet they trying to wreck it. But are we ready to go hard to protect it? If we don't stand firm, then we're sure to fall. Are you ready to fight this thing and accept the call? Or it's all about dealerships and the